Check, check, check. Oh, we have sound, baby. Yeah, now we have sound. That's cool. All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Monday morning. May the Lord bless you all in the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah. I do pray you and your families are super blessed as Bitcoin is, well, doing pretty much exactly what we thought it was going to do yesterday. Come up into our white box of hope and wonder and get a little bit of a pullback, and we are currently pulling back right now. Still in the long trade from yesteryear. We are consolidating above the high volume node of the range, consolidating above the local Fibonacci golden pocket as well. And we are very interested, very curious in what is going to happen today and tomorrow and Wednesday, because as we know, guys, this week is FOMC, the interest rate decision. I'm very excited to see what Jerome Powell is going to say when he comes out the dang closet flapping the gums as usual. Could that act as a catalyst for the next big move on Bitcoin? I believe yes. I believe we are eventually, this week, going to see the Bitcoin price finally break out of the consolidation, which is French for consolidation, that we've been in, well, really since Friday. Was it a Friday? Yeah, the 21st of November. We've been in this consolidation, which many people are saying looks quite like a, dare I say it, a bear flag? I mean, goodness gracious, could this be a bear flag? Or is this going to result in a reversal to the upside, man? We're going to be weighing all these things on the scales of probability and hope and opportunity. All right, diversity and equality and equity for all. Equality of outcome for everybody. Participation trophies and all those good kinds of things that we love here in the West. The old castrated West. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to my man, holy shit. That's, you made me say it, holy shit. As back to your entry, are you emotional? Bro, I am so dang emotional right now. I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out. Major shout out to Cyrus675. 21st, correct. Yes, the 21st of November. Yeah. Shout out to my man, Crypto Serenity 818. When bull market starts, people still realize been accumulation for over a year. Yeah, that's usually about right. All right. How do you determine where to place your volume profile? Well, go check out the free course on my YouTube channel. I have a whole section on volume. I think I have 2 sections on volume. All right. Basically, you just use your gut. You go with your gut. That's literally it. You just kind of ask yourself, where do I want to put my volume profile from? I mean, if you're looking at this chart, right? If I was looking at this chart, there would be a few volume profiles I want to pull, all right? I would say, let's check the volume of this clearly defined range right here, right? We would say, why don't we pull the volume from this clearly defined range right here? Then, of course, we would pull a macro profile from this clearly defined range right here, right? And then also this one up here, I would want to check it in the local range, right? So I would want to check it like in this area, but then I would also want to extend it to see with our current price action as well. Where's the profile, right? There's a lot of different ways you'd kind of want to do that, all right? Major shout out to AJ Trades Live 1. Will FOMC be a sell the news event? It very well may be. All right, yes, bro is still flabbergasted. I am flabbergasted and discombobulated. Upside down uneven butt cheek pattern. Is Klein funding legit? Yeah, it's legit, all right? Klein funding is legit. What would JC do? Long without a stop loss? Let's go, brother. Exactly. That's right. What would he do? He would long without a stop loss. Shout out to Anthony Lee Crypto in the house, baby. Shout out to AT Trader 43. I don't know what we're talking about in here, but it seems like you're shilling something you probably shouldn't be shilling. All right. In fact, I think I'm gonna have to ban you, bro. It doesn't look good in here. All right. Shout out to Prime Vids 3. All right, we are live on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Shout out to SVA3A and Bobby C1Y3F. Is it today? No, it's not today. It's not today. All right, let's first of all, major shout out to KCEX, lowest deal on fees. Major shout out to WEEX as well, and BLOFIN and ZOOMEX. All right, ZOOMEX offering right now the juiciest rewards. You could even win a dang Rolex. All right. Now, personally, I will never own a Rolex, never in my life. But if I won one on ZOOMEX, you know what I would do with it? I would wear it. I would wear it. The only way I'll ever wear a Rolex is if I win one. All right. Also, guys, if you want to join the Casper Crew VIP Discord, you can go to jasoncaspertrading.com. And if you know how to trade but you have no money, Klein Funding is legit. It's a crypto prop firm that runs on Bybit. And I do have 25% discounts on these funded accounts here. A $200,000 account, 25% off. Also, if you don't even want to pass the challenge, you can go to the Instant Pro accounts. 15% off on these accounts. Only if you know how to trade. Okay? Shout out to Big Ways. Egg whites or whole eggs? Always the whole egg. Am I Protestant or Catholic? Well, I'm not Catholic. Does that make you Protestant? I mean, I'm not actively protesting against the Catholic Church. I'm also not actively protesting against the Orthodox Church. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Shout out to John Blake 695. Several people in the chat laughed at my Moodang bag, but at TP on Saturday. Sorry, y'all. It looks like the trash was my treasure. Shout out to John Blake making money on his Moodang. And shout out to Machu Picchu. God bless you, Machu Picchu. Shout out to Samuel S. in the chat. Investment time, BD. And yeah, Strategy bought $1 billion. We're actually going to be talking about that. Major shout out to Larry Garcia. Shout out to Larry Garcia. All right. Let's get right into this. First of all, guys, the Bitcoin price is still chopping around our very important level of around 90,500. It's the value area low of this macro range. The reason why the volume profile is orange is because this is pretty much all the price action since November 4th when Trump, the orange man himself, wins the election. And so therefore, it's only right that the volume profile match the color of the commander-in-chief of the United States of America. And as we are chopping around this area, well, on the higher term timeframes, things are looking quite bearish, but the lower timeframes are showing us a sign of a relief rally coming kind of soon. All right, now if we take a look at the Fear and Greed Index, we can see that it is 20, which is extreme fear. We've been in extreme fear for quite some time, and we know extreme fear leads to relief. The last time extreme fear was this low, guys, was back in March and April of 2025, which led to basically us bottoming out at $74,000 and pumping up to a new all-time high. All right. Now, again, I do not trade the Fear and Greed Index, but it's always good to know the sentiment of the market because when everybody's bearish, well, guess what? The market wrecks as many people as possible, right? So let's just recognize what's happening here. We are down at key support. I would consider key support this previous range that we traded back in March through April 2025. We're back down in this zone, and we are in extreme fear once again. All right, we've already had the biggest pullback that we've had since 2022 of approximately 36.3% on Bybit USD. And so, yeah, it's definitely, in my opinion, a time to be looking for a little bit of relief to the upside. All right. In other news, crypto markets today, Bitcoin reclaims 92. Well, this is a few hours ago, 6 hours ago. We're already back down below 90. As the Fed rate cut expectations lift sentiment. Now, this is true, though, about the Fed cut rates. Basically, today, Monday, we're back above 92, or at least we were. And the main reason, according to this article, is because the Federal Reserve, aka the Fed, may cut interest rates soon. That's making investors more willing to step into risk assets like crypto. Now, we're not seeing other altcoins rally. Bitcoin's been leading this rally today. But why does this matter? Why does this even matter? Well, it is because, obviously, guys, lower interest rates means more risk taking. If the Fed cuts rates, then we're going to see people put money into risk assets like Bitcoin, and this can give us a little bit of short-term optimism in the market. Price could rebound quite a bit, maybe. Here's the thing, cutting rates is definitely bullish, all right? But it's not necessarily guaranteed to give us an immediate bullish reaction. But in 2 days, guys, the Federal Reserve is scheduled to announce the rate decision. And you can see it's getting higher and higher as the month goes on. You know, after I guess, the last FOMC and then the Fed minutes meeting, this was pretty low. People were expecting no rate cut in December, but now there's almost a 90% chance that he is going to cut rates. When I say he, I mean JP, the man himself, in December. All right, which on paper is bullish for crypto. And typically what we see is these events do lead to some significant volatility in the short term, and oftentimes they will lead to an actual direction in the market for weeks to follow. All right, so keep in mind that as we are chopping around a major level, as we are forming what appears to be somewhat of a bear flag here, guys, on Wednesday we have a major news catalyst that I truly believe is going to either break us to the upside, where we can see Bitcoin rally. Well, obviously 96K is a major target next, but I think we could rally all the way up to a back testing the October 10th wick, or potentially we could even see a move up towards $108,000 Fibonacci golden pocket confluence with the dang point of control of this previous range. All right, I really think if things start to turn bullish, that we're going to see a significant follow through. The reason why, guys, is because the weekly market cipher B right now, for the first time since, really, wow, I mean, this is crazy, really. We're printing a Ben Armstrong big boy green dot down here for the first time since June 2022. And yeah, historically speaking, guys, even in a bear market, these weekly oversold green dots, they give us like 45% corrections to the upside, even in a downtrend. If the top is in, which I'm heavily leaning towards right now, a 45% correction is going to take us back up to the value area high of the range. Right? We could honestly see something like this happen, and then eventually come back down. Honestly, we could even see the highs taken one more time and then come back down. Either way, I am still remaining in a bearish bias based on our high-term timeframes, okay? But this Federal Reserve thing could be a catalyst to really cause us to get some kind of direction coming in. And of course, if we break down from this, guys, you know, if we do break down from this, then what are we looking at? I say we're looking to take the low at $74,000. In fact, if this is a bear flag, and we look at this as our impulse here, right? We just take the measured move. That is going to take us down, dare I say, to around $65,000, which, as we know, guys, is a major support resistance flip. All right, we can take all the volume that we basically traded throughout the entirety of the two bull bear cycles and see it's literally the value area high of this entire range here, right? So the downside target of this bear flag would be at a major area of support. So we do have some very major things happening here. With the weekly being so bullish, however, I like to lean a little bit more that we're going to break to the upside to trap some bulls before getting that move down. All right, that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Could be wrong, all right? Could be wrong. But here's the thing. I'm not looking to trade a breakout of this, all right? I am looking for a reactionary trade based on what happens. A big pump, I would look for a short. A big dump, I would look for a long. And as we're in the range right now, as we're literally in this range, I am looking for longs and shorts in this little range here. In the event of a big breakout of the range to the upside, I've already got myself in a few longs. In the event of a big breakdown, I'm already short, okay? So the way we should be looking at this, at least as traders, is we say, okay, this is the place to look for a trade, look for multiple trades, so that whatever happens, we're already in a position, right? And personally, I'm not the kind of guy who would say, well, because we're pumping, let me long, or because we're dumping, let me short, unless, of course, it's a low time frame entry. All right, so there's exceptions for everything. It also has to do with the time frame, but I mean on the high time frame. I'm not going to be looking here on the weekly time frame for a trade here, right? I'm going to say I expect that we're going to break this consolidation. This consolidation is a place to look for trades, but I can't necessarily have a trade entry or signal based on this high time frame right now. Not for leverage, at least. Not for leverage. In other news, guys, this is bullish overall for crypto. All right, Binance becomes the first crypto exchange to secure global license under ADGM framework. All right, so this is actually quite significant the first global crypto exchange ever to get a full international style license under the Abu Dhabi global market in the UAE. So the license covers the entire Binance platform, trading, custody, brokerage, and OTC services. This is a path towards more regulation and adoption for crypto. It's bullish for crypto, period. All right, it means there's more trust, more protection for users. Binance will have to follow stricter rules, which kind of does suck, right? But the result of that is safer transactions, more transparent transactions, good for users, but it's bad for us degens, all right? It's good for users, bad for degens. And it does set a new global standard for other exchanges wanting legitimacy, right? Binance is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. So we're moving in the direction, guys, of wide adoption for cryptocurrency, which overall is bullish. Now, here's the problem for us degens. Really, this could lead to some serious problems for exchanges like the ones that we like to trade on, where they don't ask for your name and they let you use 500x leverage. All right, whenever people start raising the bar for crypto, it forces everybody to raise the bar. All right, so the non-KYC, super high leverage kind of platforms that us crypto degens thrive off of, well, not the best. Honestly, not the best. But nonetheless, still overall bullish for crypto. And speaking of being bullish on crypto, MicroStrategy, Wall Street's favorite stock according to Jed Graham, just loaded up on more Bitcoin. Pretty crazy. So MicroStrategy just put almost $1 billion to buy more Bitcoin, consolidating its reputation as the major Bitcoin firm. This is coming just after they made a plan creating a cash reserve to hedge themselves in the event of a bear market. And this is also coming right around the time that MicroStrategy needs to, well, not needs to, but it will be determined whether or not Morgan Stanley will take strategy off their index on January 15th. They're putting $1 billion into Bitcoin right now. Now, this is quite interesting because, remember, right now, the average buy price before this $1 billion for MicroStrategy was right around $74,000. This was their average buy price. They just put another $1 billion in, raising their average buy price. This is interesting, guys. That means now if we come below, like probably like 80K or so, strategy's going to be in the red on their Bitcoin holding. This is quite interesting. All right, it is adding a little bit of a plot twist to our story here. For the first time, we're seeing MicroStrategy. Well, at first, it looked like they were slowing down on their buying. But now they just put another dang $1 million into Bitcoin. And they're also preparing for some downside. So it is quite interesting. According to this article, some Wall Street analysts are very bullish on strategy based on recent forecasts that the stock could pump 184% from our current price. Now, this is highly speculative, honestly, because it really depends a lot on how the crypto markets do around the world. I mean, if Bitcoin does pump from here, like assuming this is a major bottom and we continue on with the bull market, all good, all good. But assuming the top is very near for Bitcoin, you know, I mean, assuming that some of these high time frame bearish divergences that we're seeing here, like on the 2-month, are signaling some, at least in my opinion, some sideways action for the rest of the year. Like, I'm expecting the first half of 2026 to be, you know, sideways and down action here. I just don't think we have it in us right now. You know, so it is very interesting to see them continuing to buy, which again, keep in the back of your mind, guys, MicroStrategy having to sell Bitcoin, which they've admitted they will do now if their holdings are in the red and their stock price is worth less than their Bitcoin holdings. They will be forced to sell Bitcoin. All right, they're increasing their average buy price right now. It is quite interesting. If we take a look at MicroStrategy stock here, people are expecting a 180% pump I mean, that would take us back up to around the all-time highs. That would take us back around to the all-time highs. However, I do think it is a little concerning that Bitcoin potentially could be heading into a multi-month bear market. And it's quite obvious that if MicroStrategy cannot hold $168, we're coming back down to $100, which is going to be from our current place about another 45% move to the downside. You know, I'm just saying it's a little bit scary after changing market structure on the weekly time frame. This is a real make or break it level. So let's hope everything goes well. Let's hope everything goes well. And if not, well, could lead to some really good buying opportunities in the future. In the future. All right. So, yeah, very interesting. MicroStrategy, a high risk, high reward bet right now. If Bitcoin stays bullish, then this could work out well for holders of the stock as well as for MicroStrategy itself. Now, coming back to the Bitcoin chart here, let's discuss what's happening here on the high time frame. So first of all, we've already looked at the 2-month bearish divergence, which historically speaking has marked the top. So the way I'm currently looking at this is we are printing a hidden bullish divergence on the weekly time frame right now. We are printing a hidden bullish divergence. We have 6 days and 7 hours. We have a long time for this thing to confirm here. All right, this is not confirmed yet, but if it does confirm, we would expect some relief to come in. At least, in my opinion, 45%. And the way I'm looking at this based on the high time frames is this: we are trading within this range where our clearly defined high is up here right now at $126-ish thousand. Our clearly defined low is right here around $74,000. And based on the high time frames, even if we are to push up and make a third drive of all-time high here, imagine what market cipher B would look like at that point, guys. The money flow would be coming down. The momentum would be coming down. It would look so bearish. I mean, if we just flip the chart upside down and we just imagine if this happened, guys, right? Imagine if this happened here, right? We would all be so bullish and eager to long this reclaim, right? I mean, what an amazing trade opportunity at the weekly time frame. I mean, if the weekly time frame is looking like this, we would be like, wow, duh, duh, what an amazing long, right? So flip the script. If we're going to come up, I mean, duh, what an amazing short, right? What an amazing short. So, I'm open to a big old pumperoni, potential new all-time high on Bitcoin here. I'm leaning more towards Bitcoin getting some relief, coming back to, at the most, the area between the golden pocket and the 786, which is going to be right in this zone right here. You know, basically the highs from January 2025 up to the major support resistance flip from July of 25 all the way to October 25, right? That's where I'd kind of be looking for us to come up to in the event of a confirmation of a green dot in the weekly. If we don't get this confirmation, then I am absolutely expecting this low to be taken next, all right? And if that low does get taken, there's two ways to actually trade it. Way number one is we come down, and then once we get good confirmation back above that level, that gives us a pretty obvious long trade to take where we know where the stop loss needs to go underneath the low. And at this point, we can still target up to around the Fibonacci golden pocket 786. You'd have a trade like this for a really nice take profit one to form our right shoulder of a head and shoulders to come down lower. Or let's say this is the bottom, in which case then you have the perfect entry from the bottom to hit your take profit one and let the rest ride, right? Obviously, if we come below the level and we don't get the reclaim, then we don't have a long trade to take. And in my opinion, we should wait for lower prices to come, such as, well, we already took a look at it, but the next major support resistance flip is going to be around 60, let's say it's $65,000, right? This is the previous all-time high in March and in November 2021, then this consolidation. and also right around this area, a little bit lower than that, right? Dipping below 60, we have the Fibonacci golden pocket coming in around 58,000. So yeah, if we're gonna not reclaim that low, this would be the next place to actually look for a bounce. Now, if the 4-year cycle is broken, meaning we're not going to see 70% pullbacks historically because of institutional money, this is a really great place to look for an actual swing long trade, okay? Now, it might take us quite some time to come down here, right? Honestly, I'm expecting the low. I'm expecting the big buy opportunity to come in around the summer, fall of 2026. That's going to put us right around here, okay? September 2026, end of August, right around here, okay? So it might take us a long time to get there, you know. Let's say we do come up, we come up here, we get a rejection. You know how Bitcoin loves to just really suck at, you know. Then we get a big old capitulation. Like, it could take us a long time. Let's not forget how long we've stayed in these ranges in the past, right? This range over here from March 2024 all the way until October 2024. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 8 months, all right? 8 months in the range from our current day until the end of the fall, you know. We're talking August. That's about another 8 months, 8 or 9 months or so. So, you know, it's not so crazy. If I say sideways and down for 8 months, I mean, we had that back here, and it was the most boring price action in the world. Also, let's not forget, from March of 2023 all the way until October 2023, I mean, this range was dreadful, 220 days. Remember, this stuff can take time. All right, so if the institutional money is going to prevent us from having a typical bear market, I'd say the mid 50s to mid 60s is a really nice place to look for a bottom. Major high volume node, Fibonacci golden pocket, value area high, back test of previous cycle, all-time highs. This bull flag here, back testing, right? If we have a traditional bear market where we see the 70% drop, then we are looking, in my opinion, to come down to dipping just below $40,000. Right around 40K is going to be the bottom. The reason I say right around 40K is because every single time in the history of Bitcoin, we have come down to that exact Fibonacci level every single time. Like, the bottom is always right there. I mean, look at this. Right to the 786 Fibonacci, 886 Fibonacci. Right? I like to see it because it's pretty predictable. Right? From the low to the high. Every single time. That's where we bottom. Every single time. Even the time before that. From the low to the high. That is right where we bottom out. Look at that. And even the very first, from Bitcoin's inception here, we take it from the bottom to the top. Look at where we bottom out. Even when Bitcoin's trading at like $5, right? Now, every time we dip a little bit more shallow into that zone. So that's why maybe like 40K-ish. But historically speaking, if we're going to have our typical bear market, that's where I would look to come down to. And anything under 40,000 is very cheap. Bitcoin, speaking of that, Bitcoin is currently getting a little bit of pump right now as we speak. You can see Bitcoin consolidating within this range. We're starting to get a big old candle on the 15-minute time frame here. All right, 15-minute time frame pump. Let's see what is happening here. We're getting a little bit of a pump here on Bitcoin as we are struggling to reclaim this major resistance here at approximately 92,000 USD. All right, so that brings us back to our lower time frames. Let's talk about what has happened here. Then we'll move on to some other assets as well. But I would say this, you know, Bitcoin has made a major bottom down here between the 786, 886 locally. And we have been holding higher lows here, bouncing from none other than the golden pockets, right? So we came to the Fibonacci 618, and we got a bounce right from this level right here, currently in a long from that level. And then, of course, we came down to the next Fibonacci golden pocket yesterday, and I did take the long from that level as well from yesterday. And, you know, currently right now we are flirting with potentially coming down to this next Fibonacci golden pocket here. Now remember, the area that we are currently finding resistance at is the area between the Fibonacci golden pocket and the 786. So you can see these fib levels are being very well respected. So long as we were able to hold this trend line, right, I'd say that is, well, basically a sign of strength here. We could take a look at this Gareth-Salloway line from these lows that flip into resistance here. It becomes pretty obvious, guys, that if we start to reclaim this channel, we could see easily a squeeze up to backtest, basically, the POC of the macro range was going to be around 96, 97. We reclaim 96, 97. It will be a smooth move up to around 100. Right now, the Fibonacci golden pocket is at 105,000-ish. But I'd say 105 to 108 would be the next area to be looking for sure. You know, yesterday we were looking basically at this white box. We tapped it. We said we're going to take the highs before another move down. We did get a big move down. We did take the highs. We did get another move down. Let's take a quick look at the order flow. Good old OF, man. The good old OF. OF, 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 OF. Shout out to everybody in the chat. This is clearly an accumulation zone. Is it that clear? Selena Anderson, is it that clear? Is it that clear? I'd say it's hard to say. You could definitely make the case for it being an accumulation zone. If this is going to turn into an accumulation zone, then I'd say let's just be aware of the fact that 96, like basically the POC of the range is going to be the top and the low is going to be the bottom, right? And historically speaking, when we have seen these big bottoms on the weekly, because one of the major, I'd say, cases you make for accumulation is the big bottom that is about to confirm on the weekly. Well, the last time we had a big bottom confirm on the weekly, what did we do? I mean, we formed a little range, and we had our clearly defined low of the range. We had our clearly defined high of the range, basically this area, right? Support resistance flip. Front to the low, to the high. We did a nice little liquidity grab to come to the lows, and then boom, off to the races, right? So that would be really nice, right? If we came a little bit higher, up towards major resistance, 96,000, 97,000-ish, come back down, take the low, and then come back in. And with this weekly, yeah, I think it could look really nice. Just remember, the weekly is not confirmed yet, right? But yeah, I would say I'm definitely looking for relief to the upside, but right, and so long as we're confined within this area, it's actually really difficult for me to say what I expect next, right? It would not surprise me if the low is not in here. It would not surprise me if we come and take this low before a big pump right now, and this thing never confirms. So I guess depending on what time frame you trade, if you're a high time frame trader, and you're looking at this as accumulation, then it doesn't really matter where you buy it. If we're looking for a move up to, well, let's say 102, but I would rather wait until we're back down in this area for a move up to 102. But yeah, this very well could be accumulation. It looks like a giant Adome and Eve pattern. And see, Marp says it's a bear flag. Yeah, so again, yeah, that's another way to look at it, as a bear flag. The thing, and the target of the bear flag is going to be around $65,000, right? If we're going to be looking at this as a bear flag, the target is going to be around 65K, right? I guess it depends on how you draw the bear flag. This bear flag drawing has us down to the golden pocket, right? The golden pocket of the entire bull run, not on log scale, right around that $58,000 level. But the way we drew it earlier was taking us down to the value area high of everything we've got here, right? So yeah, there's a few ways to look at this. So whatever you do, make sure you're using good risk management, waiting for some good low time frame setups. Give them hope and then stop them out. Yeah, that would be nice, right? That would be nice. If you get Market Cipher, you don't need a TradingView subscription. All right, Market Cipher does not require a TradingView subscription. That's the whole point of Market Cipher, is tons of indicators shoved into one, so you don't need a TradingView subscription, right? So you don't need a TradingView subscription. Man, let's see. Now we're starting to get a little bit. This right here, this little flag, this little consolidation right here. You know, be watching for a move down to this area. That could actually be pretty nice now. I wasn't too interested in it earlier, but as I watch this form here, you know, I'm more interested in maybe taking out that low for a long. I'll have to put an alert on this. Right now as we're watching kind of the 12-minute form, some bullish divergences. You ordered the Fibonacci Alfredo the other night. It was a tasty special for 618 cents. I've been accumulating gold since I was 20, says Crypto Serenity. That's awesome. I've been accumulating gold since I was about 23. Do I use Market Cipher A much? No, I don't use Market Cipher A at all. My beautiful High Life says, I want that Sunday low. Yeah, that Sunday low does look nice, honestly. Taking out the low from Sunday, in my opinion, would make for a pretty nice long trade. Shout out to Splashfire Films, who's shouting out Market Cipher. Yeah, the Fibonacci Alfredo is definitely a good dish for sure. J Wheels. Then we all die at 68,000. I don't know. Remember, says Liberty and Trust, we do not predict as traders, scalpers, and holders. We react to movements. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the way we got to approach this, right? All right. Bullish on Parade says, if you want to see some hopium, look at Total 3. All right. Let's take a quick look at Total 3. How old am I now? Yeah, 21. I wish, man. I'm going to be 36 this year. My goodness. I'm going to be 36. I can't believe that. I'm closer to 50 than I am to 15, which is nuts. I remember at when I turned 30, I said, well, I'm as close to 15 as I am to 45. That's not so bad. I'm halfway in the middle. But now I can no longer say that. I'm going to be 36, man. I'm a middle-aged, fat, dad bod, beer gut, minivan driving, 3-kid having, job hating, white guy who just realized the American dream is a hoax. All right, it's not a good place to be. Okay, it's not a good place to be. Shout out to Make Me a Millie. God bless you, my brother. Glad to see you here, man. Glad to see you here. Can you start trading as a barista? I don't know. I didn't trade when I was a barista. I was a barista in 2013. Time keeps going faster as you get older. Yeah, everyone says that, you know? Everyone says that. Everyone says that. All right, Total 3. Let's take a look-see at the Total 3. Wow, okay, so Total 3. Again, this is money coming into altcoins. Weekly looking a little bit nice. 4-day. Looking not so bad, honestly. Potential hidden bullish div on the 4-day. It's definitely looking like a bottom is in. A local bottom. So for me, Total 3, in order for me to get bullish on altcoin gains right now, you know, we've been looking at the potential of some major altcoin gains coming in. Here's the first thing that needs to happen for altcoin gains. We need to see Bitcoin holding support at $90,000. If Bitcoin can hold above 96,000, well, we could see some major altcoin gains. Bitcoin does not have to make a new all-time high for us to see major altcoin gains. So long as Bitcoin is not losing the low of the range at 74,000 and we are consolidating within the range, especially getting some relief, well, then what we want to see is these nice bottoms here on Total 3 start to confirm. We want to see the reclaim of the trend line. Remember, this trend line on Total 3, which is total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and ETH, so essentially altcoins. This has been respected since September 2023. We're currently below. So you could look at this as an opportunity to scoop up alts really cheap. And then I'd say we could look for a move if we reclaim the trend line back at least to the top of our local range here. You know, we're talking 1.15 trillion. Currently we're at, you know, 873 billion. So we're talking like, you know, to like $300 billion coming into altcoins, potentially. That's quite a bit of money. And I know it seems crazy, but really, I mean, look at the swing we saw on October 10th. I mean, I know that that's an extreme situation. But I mean, it's nothing to see, like literally in the course of 1 week, we have seen, you know, 1 trillion down to, you know, we've seen like $200 billion leave in 1 week. We've seen on October 10th, I mean, basically 750 all the way up to 1.2. I mean, like $400 billion coming in, $500 billion coming in a week. Like, you know, you could see some crazy stuff happen. So let's take a look now at BTC.D. Because Bitcoin dominance, as we know, if we want to see altcoins pump, we need to see Bitcoin holding support and Bitcoin dominance decreasing. Well, right now we are seeing Bitcoin dominance decreasing. It's breaking down from this ascending channel, which is a bearish pattern. And when we zoom out, we can see we're breaking down from, you know, it's interesting. Altcoin dominance is in a ascending channel as well. But Bitcoin dominance has really broken down from its channel. And now we back tested on October 10th for another channel breaking down. Money flow coming out, daily bearish divergences, money flow coming down. I'm sorry, weekly bearish divergences, money flow coming down. Yeah, so we want to see the altcoin dominance form those nice bottoms. We want to see Bitcoin dominance continue down like it is. And we want to see Bitcoin not lose the range. And we could see some alts get some serious upside. We also want to keep our eyes on USDT dominance, which is at the top of a major range at resistance. We'd want to see this as well coming down along with Bitcoin dominance. Why do we want to see Bitcoin and Tether dominance coming down and altcoin dominance rising? It's showing us that money is coming into the crypto market, but that money is not going to Bitcoin or stablecoin, right? There's only Bitcoin, stablecoin, and altcoins. All right, if money's coming in and it's not going to Bitcoin, it's not going to stablecoins, it's only going to altcoins. It's a bad finger. But you guys know what I mean, right? That's the only choice. So that's what we want to kind of keep our eyes on here, which brings me to Ethereum. And we've been looking at this pitiful. Honestly, it's starting to turn pitiful here. It really is starting to turn pitiful. This potential ETH recovery struggling to happen here. Why do I say this recovery struggling to happen? Well, we got ourselves on ETH. We've been watching this parabola coming down here. We make a bottom, we get a bounce, we make a higher low, we make a higher high. So far, bullish market structure here. So far, bullish market structure. We are trying to close a daily candle above $3,099.32 on Bybit USD. And we recognize that a close above that does open the door for a squeeze up to $4,000 simply because this parabola is unsustainable to the downside. And again, if we were to invert this, right, what would we expect here, right? If this was the 5-minute chart, what would we be looking for? We'd be looking to long the golden pocket, right? Why? Well, because we have a support resistance flip here, right? Go ahead and take this. We have a high volume node right around there. And, you know, obviously this is an unsustainable move to the upside. So putting it back to normal, we would now be expecting the short squeeze, right? If we're going to continue down, we'd be expecting to move up to $4,000. And of course, if we come up to $4,000 and we can flip that into support, let's just appreciate for a second here the importance of the $4,000 level. Let's just appreciate for a second here the importance of this level. This has been resistance since May 2021. It was resistance in August 21, resistance in December 21, resistance in March 24, June 24, January 25, I guess December 24. And now we have this glorified fake out. And, you know, look at this, man. Potentially, I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying potentially. Potentially, we have a nice left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right into the Fibonacci golden pocket. Potentially, which potentially could give us a new all-time high too, man. If you know what I am saying here. And I would expect, you know, Bitcoin not having to hit a new all-time high. If we can flip $4,000 major area, the all-time high is actually most probable on ETH. But of course, this is just potentially. 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 Hey, my man Charlie. Hello, Charlie. How are you doing today, Charlie? Are you potent, Charlie? Are you feeling potent today? Charlie is feeling potent. He is potent, Charlie. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Potent Charlie to get the short squeeze. Potent Charlie to get the short squeeze. Hopes and dreams, says Baru. Yep, I mean, this really is hope and dream territory, honestly. Am I bullish? Like someone says, I'm bullish if you're bullish. So right now, for me to really get bullish, I mean, I want to see the daily candle close above the level. And then I would say $4,000 ETH is on the table. All right. Locally speaking, we could get some real relief here. All right. And that could be another lower high. Or we could sweep all the liquidity and then come back down. Honestly. But yeah, let's not ignore, guys. Here's the thing, okay? We have just seen multiple months of downside in a very unsustainable pattern with weekly bottoms printing. All right, let's just go to Market Cipher B and blindly long any weekly momentum wave that is under the zero line. All right, blindly. Let's just see what happens when we get that. All right, we'll just blindly do it here. We'll just blindly do it, okay? Remember, we just had tons of pain to the downside. We've seen a lot of people exit. All right, what happens here? Okay, we get one here. This is the bull market, 148%. Then we get one over here. All right, 67%. We get one over here. What do we get? 100%. All right, we get one over here. What do we get? 33%. All right, we get one over here. What do we get? 70%. We got one over here. All right, what do we get? 160%. All right, we got one over here. What do we get? 90%. All right, we got one over here. What do we get? 200%. Now, this is going all the way back to 2020. Every time this has happened since 2020, we get a multi-tens of percent move to the upside. Why would we expect this time to be different? Now, again, this is not confirmed yet, okay? We still have 6 days and 6 hours. But if we can confirm the daily candle above the level, you have to understand, we are printing the bottom signal with bullish market structure. That puts more eggs into the probability basket of getting a move up here. All right? That's all I'm trying to say. And when we print the weekly bottom, when you see this curve to the downside, this is easily squeezed, all right? It's like a very, very, very ripe orange. The kind of orange where when you pick it up, it's so ripe, it's basically rotten. But your fingers go right through the peel into the orange. It's just so easy to squeeze, all right? You guys know what I mean, right? Potentially, yeah. Yeah, potentially. Was it an MM crypto impersonation? I don't even know what it was. Flavor says, holy F, nothing makes me want to click off bids more than streamers doing accents. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry that you clicked off because of my accent. But look, here's the truth about Jason Kaspa that nobody knows. Okay, this is actually my real accent. But I know if I want to be a successful YouTube streamer, I have to have an American accent because that's where the majority of the people live in America. in America. So I've been practicing my American accent. Right now I'm using a fake accent, okay? But most people can't tell because I'm such a good accent maker that most people can't tell. Get the Pikachu hat for a pump. Yeah, seriously. You want ETH in the VIP? Yeah, I got to get back to that, all right? I will. I mean, I will, okay? Let's check out quickly again the ETH Bitcoin pair. False move Monday, baby. Again, just to recap, ETH versus Bitcoin, also looking like we could see ETH well outperform Bitcoin locally here. Potentially coming up to our last support resistance flip at around 5120, which is approximately about, let's see here, about 61%. ETH outperforming Bitcoin by 61%. All right, let's take a look at some other assets right now. We're going to take a look at Solana. All right, so objectively speaking here, Solana, we'll go to the daily here. We are, again, forming this range down here at the value area low. A reclaim of the POC would be our first major sign of strength for more upside. A reclaim and a backtest of 143 is going to be major for some upside. But as we can see on Solana, and it's not as bad as ETH, right? ETH looks way worse. But we could easily just squeeze up to 171, and then it would be just a hop, step, and a skip, whatever those baby boomers say, to 193. All right, if we pull our fib from high to low, we've also got our golden pocket right around 200. So just like ETH, I don't think it would be so crazy to see us get another rotation back to the top of the range, where we either flip it into resistance, support, and breakout, or we get a rejection and we come down. We are forming bottoms on the weekly as well, but the dot is not printing. All right, the 4-day has put in a continuation pattern. All right, so there are some bullish factors here for Solana, which is in April we made a bullish divergence on our 4-day, and now we've confirmed a trigger wave continuation. Big boy green dot. 5-day, same deal. Bullish div followed by a hidden bull div on the 5-day. The 2-day, bull div followed by hidden bull div on the 2-day. There are definitely some bottom-ish signals here for sure, but we need the actual price action to follow through here. So we need to reclaim that POC. You can see it's a major support resistance flip. I mean, not only is it the high volume node going all the way back to 2024, but look at how it was perfect. Resistance flip to support, support, now resistance. That's going to be a good play, in my opinion, to get in on strength. Get long on SOL on strength up to, 193 to potentially $200. Something like this would be the next play. And of course, taking a partial up here, taking out 75% of the trade here, and then letting the rest ride for potential all-time highs. I'd say that's not a bad play either, because ideally we'd be looking for the top of the range. And in an extremely bullish scenario, which would admittedly be something I'm not expecting here, yeah, we could see SOL hit new all-time highs. All right, let's take a look at SOL versus Bitcoin. I mean, when we look at SOL versus Bitcoin on the 2-day, guys, it is pretty extreme in a sense that we have hidden bullish divergences here as we are forming some bullish market structure. I mean, honestly, look at this, right? We have a rounded bottom after making a higher high locally here. This is Solana performing against Bitcoin. Let's see, where did we reject from? Yeah, I don't see why, honestly, we can't see Solana outperform Bitcoin as well. Coming to our next resistance around 25,988 Satoshis. Where was the all-time high? This was the top of the bull market back here. Yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, really, from January 2024, which was kind of like an alt season, right? I'd say we could be looking at this as our range. Locally, it's really looking like Sol also wants to outperform Bitcoin. And of course, if we see the ingredients of Bitcoin holding 74, getting some relief, especially if Bitcoin can reclaim 96, these altcoins are looking set up to make some decent gains. And speaking of decent gains, look at Bitcoin getting a little bit of a move to the upside here. We are coming to the top of this local range on Bitcoin. Let's see if we can't get this to happen. Right, come up and reject from this area right here. We have a beautiful zone right here. Look for a rejection and then come down to this area here for a potential long, honestly. You know? This would be ideal for me. Where's my paintbrush? Here it is. Something like this, all right? Something like this. Does anyone out there besides me see a huge correction coming for the stock market? Well, there has to be. I mean, a correction has to come at some point, right? It has to come at some point. It's funny, I was just talking to my legit financial advisor. About how the trend is your friend until the end, and the trend is definitely up. I mean, on the S&P 500, you know, which is I just kind of use for the stock market in general. But yeah, at some point, this is the weekly chart. Let's go to the monthly chart. At some point, we need to have some kind of a correction. I mean, back in April, we had a pretty major correction. I would consider, you know, 21% on the S&P 500 a major correction. The last time before that was when they really started QT. QT is a southern gas station, quick trip. You'll find them a lot near Georgia. And I have to say, I love QT if I'm in the South. I love QT if I'm in the South. If I'm in the North, you know, Sheetz. Sheetz is where it's at, Wawa. And if you're in New Jersey, Quick Check. If you guys are from New Jersey and you know what a Quick Check is, that's awesome. So, we had a 34% correction in 2020 during the vid. At some point, there's got to be a big old correction here, right? Now, I would say this on the monthly. We got another drive of bear div forming here. We had some bear div up in here before the March and April correction. We had some bear div. I would say this, like, it does look very similar to what happened before the COVID dump, where we had some local divergence, followed by a trigger wave above the zero line, and then another drive of divergent. You know? So, it does look like a monthly red dot here could send us quite some way down on the stock market. And if that happens, you know, if that happens, like, I'm just curious to see, like, where are we now? Like, we're right around here, right? We're right around, like, January 2020. As far as, like, where the oscillator's at, right? Which means, you know, January, February could be extremely bearish for the stock market. And if that's the case, January, February, that would assist us in our Bitcoin bearish bias, obviously, right? That would assist us in our Bitcoin bearish bias. I'm curious to pull some fib levels here. You know, we front ran. No, we didn't. Yeah. Okay, so look at this, though. The golden pocket is going to be just below that wick. Man, wouldn't it be insane if we just hit that resistance from January 2022? That would be wild, man. I don't think that would happen. Maybe. That'd be pretty crazy. That could be crazy. Shout out to HFG. Rich get richer. Can't last forever. Lots of gains are fake. Yeah, it can't last forever. But, yeah, at some point they're going to have to pivot into, like, digital currency or something like that. But, yeah, it can't last forever. This is obviously unsustainable. I mean, go to the yearly chart. You know, this is obviously unsustainable. This cannot reflect reality. This reflects the devaluing of the dollar. It's pretty crazy, you know. It's pretty crazy. I mean, the Federal Reserve is created right here. And then look, all of a sudden, big old pump on the stock market, right? Leading to the Great Depression. Pretty crazy. And then, let's see. I'm super curious. So right around here is when we went off the gold standard completely. And then straight up, wow. I understand why boomers are so into the dang stock market. Right? Basically, it's been a tried and true thing. Tried and true. And until the system is reset completely, the Great Reset, which is still here, I mean. But anyway, until the Great Reset takes full effect, this is going to keep going straight up. And maybe even after, it'll go straight up too. Shout out to Ronnie or Roni from India. Short the stock market. I'm not shorting the stock market. Lasers go pew pew. I'm not shorting the stock market. Why would I say we need a pullback if earnings are crushing? Because you can't just go straight up forever. There has to be a pullback. There has to be a pullback. It happens all the time. And we've got some bearish divergences, right? We've got some bear divs. Look at the daily, right? The last time the daily started to look like this, money flow getting lower, you know, we got some pullbacks, right? I mean, the daily is looking like, right, it was right around here, okay? And then we start to get some pullback there. You know, about 6%. The next bear div drive gave us 10%. And once we got that money flow cross on the daily, money flow cross happened right here. That resulted in 18% from that point. So, yeah, I don't know. You know, don't forget about black swans, says somebody. Yeah, black swans. Shout out to Crypto Incognito. What is going on? Shout out to Lasers Go Pew Pew. What did the cup smell like? What are we talking about? The 2.618 comes in at 7,024. Wow. That is right close to here. That is close to here. That could be a night, you know, that could be it, huh? Before a correction. Oh no, Bitcoin crashing. It's exactly what we wanted to happen, guys. All right, remember, we wanted to tap into the box and get moved to the downside. That's exactamundo what's happening right now. Isn't that crazy? And they say technical analysis doesn't work. So now let's see if we can't get moved down to our books, and take a little bit of a loom from the books. Loom from the books, baby. Shout out to Lasers Go Pew Pew. Shout out to 33 Isam. Shorting is betting against the rich. Be careful. That is true. That is true. Orange swans. Yeah, you gotta watch out for those orange swans as well. But whatever, I'm not a macroeconomic guy, all right? I'm a Bitcoin day trader, so please don't take anything I say about the stock market seriously. What do I think about the yen carryover? You know, I'm too uneducated to comment on that at all. I haven't been following that at all. I've been seeing the headlines, but I haven't been reading them. Shout out to Driftman YB9BK. price taking out Sunday low is possible. Yeah, Sunday low would be honestly the best place to look for a long. Because you can't... Oh, I sniffed my cup 3 minutes ago. It smells like coffee. My Market Cipher mug. Alright, I've had it since 2022. It's been my faithful coffee mug since then. You can see the dried coffee in the bottom. MarketCipherTrading.com. Yeah, it smells like some good coffee. A nice dark roast, low acid organic coffee. Which I drink about 6 to 8 ounces of coffee every morning. 6 to 8 ounces a day keeps the doctor away, or so they say. 6 to 8 ounces a day keeps the doctor at bay. Or at least that's what they say. That's what they say. 6 to 8 ounces a day keeps the doctor at bay. Hey, hey, hey. Shout out to Dave Digital. I'm worried about sesh swans. Are they chicken or cat? I don't get it, man. I'm too stupid. But God bless you, Dave Digital. Thank you so much for popping on in. We need to dump into the FOMC meeting to pump after. That is true. I would say in general, that is probably true. Shout out to DI. God bless you, DI. What's wrong with Ethereum? I don't think there's anything wrong with Ethereum. I think it is a good asset. Alright, Lasers Go Pew Pew gets it. Alright. Shout out to Lasers Go Pew Pew. You drink about 300 ounces of coffee a day. There's nothing wrong with ETH, Yassine. It's trying to get a reclaim. Alright. Oh, get it now, bro. That's funny, man. That is funny. Yeah, we'll never know for certain. We'll never know for certain. But I do know there's... I mean, you know, there was a Chinese food restaurant in my town when I was a kid, and there were stray cats that lived behind there. I always wondered. But who knows? Who knows? Around Town 27, I honestly don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about, but it's very interesting to me. There's a German short man who gave a speech, and there's some translations that are in question. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds like something I'd be interested in. What do I think of Zcash? Well, I think it's probably... Let's check it out. Let's check it out. What can an average middle-class guy do to get rich nowadays? Start an online business and learn how to invest your money. Honestly. Start an online business and learn how to invest your money. And if you don't know how to invest your money, find someone who does. Because there's a lot of ways to grow your money if you have money to grow. And these days, I'd say the best way is to start an online business. You know, we've got this little window still to monetize yourself through the internet. That is by far the best way. I really think, all things considered, an average middle-class guy to get rich, start an online business. You know, I learned that from my pops. My pops, he started online businesses back in like 2005. And it's funny. You know, he had a job. He worked 26 years at a real job. And he made way more money doing his online business than he did working at his real job. And my pops would be considered rich, I guess. He's probably definitely in the top 1% of earners in America. You know, in his business, making like 6 figures a year, mid 6 figures or so, I would assume. And of course, the opportunities are endless when you start an online business. I mean, think about it. The internet, you have unlimited amount of leads, hot leads. You start any kind of content creation, you know, you've got hot leads. Like right now, I've got 800 people in the chat, 800 people potentially to buy my products and stuff. I got 150,000 subscribers on YouTube. There's 150,000 people who actually care about what I have to say. It's not like I'm going to some random stranger trying to sell him some stupid crap, you know? So I'd say the online business is the way to go. And then learn how to invest your money. Learn actually how to invest your money. I'm not just talking about trading. There are things you can do with your money to get it to grow for you that are very low risk. Of course, this is only if things keep going as normal. A major economic collapse would derail all of that. But I'd say right now, all things considered, that is the way to go. Start a business online and learn how to invest the money. Let's check out Zcash. So Zcash right now has lost the range. Wow, would you look at that? I mean, we bounced right from the support resistance flippity flop flip. Right from the SR flippity flop flip. We actually front ran a little bit here. I'd say what would look nice to me on Zcash is getting another move to the downside to actually come into. Like right now we're trying to backtest the support resistance flip here, come down to this zone, get some nice bullish divergence on the daily. That could give us another move to the upside. Right, major support on Zcash in this zone here, guys. Right, we're going all the way back to May 2021. This would be a breakout and a backtest right there. You know? Yeah, dividends, definitely. Dividend paying stocks. Different accounts you can create that will grow your money and you don't have to pay taxes on it when you take it out. Like, there's a lot of different things you can do. You can put money into like a money market account, which basically is, you know, you're basically trusting somebody to invest your money, but it's, you know, I recommend diversifying it. I'm not a financial advisor. All right. I'm literally a Bitcoin day trader. That's my specialty. Monero. I'm interested in Monero. I hold some Monero. It's one of those coins where honestly Monero is good because if you're ever in a position where you need to make a transaction in private, it is the way to go, honestly. Sui, interesting one. Let's check out Sui. So Sui is getting a move down. We had this ugly kind of thing here as of October 30th. Does this ugly thing kind of does continue here? I'd say. Right, we see even more ugliness to the downside. And Sui also kind of looking similar to ETH, where we're starting to change market structure here for the first time, literally since July. Right? Literally since July. We do have some nice bullish div here. We do have some nice bullish div here. Yeah, I mean, obviously, first major sign of strength on Sui would have to be the reclaim of the value area low. That's going to be at $2. But we are seeing some local signs of strength, and honestly, like, if all the ingredients of ETH getting a pump happen, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this thing also get a bit of a pump here. Let's check on the Bitcoin. All right, eventually, I would like to make our way down a little bit lower here. Maybe we got one more tap into the books. But shout out to Dave Digital. Yeah, man, you could unsubscribe. I get it. Alrighty, guys, I have to head out, man. I have to head out. But I love you all. God bless you all. Thank you all so much for being here. May the Lord bless you in Jesus' name. And Lord willing, I will see you guys tomorrow. And Lord willing, I will see you guys on Wednesday for the big FOMC rate decision. Peace, guys.